know, I got a lot of comments and messages on the last bits of content that I made. The shorts and the longer video that I made about drinking alcohol seemed to really resonate with people. And there's a few different reasons for that. I think a lot more people identified and found that some of the things I was saying they could really relate to. I had some guys from my fire station bust my chops and make fun of me, of course. I mean, that's par for the course. But I had people text me and inbox me and DM me, call me and stop me on the street or pull me aside and talk to me in just the last week. And some of it was to say that they were proud of me for expressing what I expressed. And some people were eager to tell me that they could identify with what I was expressing and that they experienced a lot of the same feelings that I was expressing regarding alcohol use over the course of a lifetime and how it just became part of their lives. And the reason a lot of people don't comment on the videos, or not, I mean, some people do. Some people are totally fine with commenting on the video or saying things publicly, but sometimes people are just not comfortable with the idea of talking about the fact that they think that they might have a problem with the amount of alcohol that they're consuming, or if it's becoming problematic in their lives, or if it just doesn't work for them anymore, or if they feel like they could just be healthier or want something different, or they're feeling something inside like they just feel like they could be healthier. And I think a lot of the reason that people are reaching out to me on the side instead of commenting in any kind of public forum is for a couple different reasons. You know, the most famous drinking cessation program is called Alcoholics Anonymous. And there's a reason that people want anonymity. There's a reason people do not want to be publicly known for having a drinking problem. And it's because there's a lot of stigma, there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of guilt involved in what it means to admit that one has a problem with something. But to have a problem with alcohol is really not that big of a surprise, because it's a highly addictive neurotoxin and poison that I mean, it can get its claws into anybody. It doesn't discriminate. There may be some proclivities for some people that have a genetic predisposition. I have family members that suffered from alcoholism in the past. I've had family members that have died from alcoholism, acute alcoholism, you know, cirrhosis of the liver, just literally people drinking themselves to death. And there's also, it's not everybody that can maybe just admit that maybe they're struggling with something that is becoming problematic. So part of making these videos is to really dispel some of that stigma, to break down some of those barriers that people have, to recognize that maybe some of the behavior that they're engaging in, some of the things that they thought were just normal part of life, are becoming problematic and creating issues with their health, their well-being, their physical health, their emotional health, their mental health, their relationships with other people, and it could be affecting a multitude of things on a personal, professional level. And so just discussing the idea of what it means to recognize that something's becoming problematic and that maybe there's a better way, or maybe there's some issues that need to be addressed. It's just a conversation that is long overdue, because we live in a world, in a society where drinking alcohol is the most commonly accepted use of drugs. Now, if you told your friend, like, oh, just have a, couple hits of heroin, or just have a couple of snorts of fentanyl, or just have a couple of Xanax to relax, you'd be seen as a crazy person. But for someone to tell you just have a couple drinks is seen as completely normalized. And actually, it's the only drug in which, if you don't use it on a regular basis, it's seen as there's something wrong with you for not using alcohol on a regular basis. And just like it was smoking cigarettes, where people would just smoke cigarettes in hospitals and office buildings and airplanes, alcohol is eventually going to go the same way. People are eventually going to wake up and recognize the truth of what it is. Yes, it is something that is part of our society. Yes, it is something that has become part of our way of life. But we have to ask ourselves why. Who stands to benefit from keeping us dull and drunk and out of it and bloated and unhealthy and addicted to this poison? Who stands to benefit from that? And when you just look at it clearly, it's obvious on so many levels that the people that stand to benefit want to keep people trapped in this unhealthy cycle. And if it feels as if something is wrong with the way that we consume alcohol in the society, it's because there is something wrong with it. There's something terribly wrong with the fact that we are regularly pouring this poison into our body, and we're paying good money for it. Anybody that drinks on a regular basis is paying thousands of dollars a year just to poison themselves, essentially. And when we start to recognize that, we start to realize, oh, wow, I've been kind of tricked. I've been sold this lie that drinking on a regular basis is something healthy, or there's some kind of benefit to it, or it's something that's good for us, when in reality, we know that it's not. And so I just wanted to make this video just to let people out there know that if you do struggle with it, if you're feeling like the norm of drinking on a regular basis is problematic, it's because it is. If you're feeling like the norm of going out and drinking to the point of effect where you get intoxicated, if you're feeling like it's having a negative effect on your health, your physical health, your mental, your emotional well-being, your relationships, your job, it's because it probably is affecting you. And you're not alone. That's really why I wanted to make this video, is to let you know that you're not alone. There's a multitude of ways to address this issue. You can go to AA, which is, look, whatever works for anybody. If someone's got an issue and they find the solution to their problem, you should explore it. You should do whatever it takes to make the changes you need to make in your life. But one of the primary drivers of people not making this change in their lives and not just putting it behind them is specifically the stigma. The social stigma surrounding the use of alcohol is so powerful that most of the people that I've spoken to that have a problem and that struggle with, people that I love and struggling with the amount that they drink, how often, and what it does to them, and want to make changes in their life, they're reluctant to make changes primarily for one reason. They're afraid of what it's going to do to their social life. They're afraid of what people are going to think about them. They're afraid of how people are going to perceive them. They're worried about how people are going to judge them or whether they're going to be accepted. And rightly so, because it happened to me. When I quit drinking, a lot of my so-called friends disappeared. When I no longer went out and bellied up to the bar and got drunk on a regular basis, my phone stopped ringing. People stopped reaching out to me. I remember one time I had posted a picture that I was at a bar, and my phone rang within 5 minutes, and my buddy said, "Hey, you not down there? I'll come down there and meet you, and we'll knock a few back." And I explained to him that I was just stopping in to see a friend and that I'd be leaving soon. And that friend only called me up because he would have had the opportunity to come down to the same bar that I was at and knock a few back, and we would share this addiction together that we both had for years. And so when you start to see that a lot of our social circles and social environments, social situations, our friendships, who we belong to, is based around drinking, you start to realize that it's a lot harder than just stopping drinking. It's much more about who am I, who are my friends, who do I belong to, what do I do in my free time, how do I spend my free time. And when we start to recognize that sometimes giving up drinking may mean facing the reality that you're giving up friends who maybe aren't really your friends. Maybe it's also not only about giving up unhealthy habits, but maybe it's about letting go of the people, the places, the situations in our life that are no longer serving us. Maybe it's about time we recognize how much pressure we feel to be accepted, to belong, and to belong to who and why. And what does it mean to stand in the face of adversity and challenge? What does it mean to stand up to how other people perceive us and do the work necessary to ensure that we're being true to ourselves? What does it take to be fed up, to be sick and tired enough to say, I don't care if other people are going to judge me, or if people are going to ask questions, or if people are going to stop hanging out with me? Because I got news for you. If people stop hanging out with you because you stopped drinking, they weren't really your friends in the first place. They were just people you hung out and shared an addiction with. And here I am, sitting by myself, talking to my phone around a campfire by myself. I'm here talking to this camera and sitting by this campfire because I choose to be. I am fortunate enough to have supportive people in my life, friends, family, people that love and accept me for who I am. But it wasn't everybody. And there were challenges socially with my social connections. I did lose people that I thought were friends, and it hurt. But I will tell you this. I thought that when I quit drinking alcohol, that a lot of the fun that I was going to experience, the enjoyment that I was going to have, was going to disappear with it. And I remember I was with a friend, we went to a concert, and when we went to the concert, he, after a few cocktails, we get into the lobby of the venue, and he's got to get online to wait for a new cocktail and to also go to the bathroom. And I went straight to the seats. And this process of waiting for the bathroom and getting a new drink took a good half hour. And while I'm sitting in the seats waiting for the concert to start, the concert started. And when the concert started, the music came up, and I was overwhelmed, choked up, and started welling up with tears because I realized in that moment that the music sounded just as beautiful as it always has. That the sound, the synergy of celebrating music was just as powerful, and I was completely sober. And I knew in that moment that I was going to be okay. And since then, I've gone to concerts, I sing karaoke, I perform live music, I'll dance the hokey pokey, I'll be silly, and not take myself too seriously. I don't need to be inebriated just to have fun. I don't need to be drunk just to celebrate life. And neither do you, neither does anybody. God, I use that word loosely, whatever you perceive him or her to be, the creator didn't create us as these beings with the need to have some artificial crutch just to have confidence or just to enjoy life or just to celebrate what it means to be alive. He didn't create us with this need to have a crutch that we would have to depend on some magic elixir to have fun. We can experience joy, celebration, fun, connection, and life without having to be dulled up and poisoned and paying good money for it and ruining our health and compromising our relationships and jeopardizing our emotional, our psychological and physical well-being. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I'm coming to recognize that when I decided to stop drinking, I didn't struggle with it as much as most people do. There are some people that struggle a lot with giving up alcohol, and I feel deeply grateful and blessed that I didn't struggle with it. I decided to give it up, and when I gave it up, I was able to see the truth. I was able to see the man behind the curtain, and I was able to realize that I didn't need this poison anymore. And I'm deeply grateful for that. I really am. Especially when I watch people that I love struggle with it. One of the reasons that I feel like I didn't struggle with it too much is because I read a book called The Easy Way by Alan Carr. And he's got a couple different books. He's got The Easy Way to Quit Smoking, and he's got one called The Easy Way to Quit Drinking. And essentially, read the book. I'm not trying to steal anybody's ideas. There's no competition here. If I can help someone else on their journey of figuring out how to make their lives better, I've been helped in so many ways by so many people. It's the least I could do. So there's no competition here. Read the book. Get Alan Carr's Easy Way and read it. And you'll clearly see that we've been tricked. We've been duped. And we spend really good money and spend a lot of time pouring poison down our throat, only to think that it gives us a good time, when in reality it's robbing us of our health, our vitality, and our life in a lot of ways. So if you are out there and you're hearing this message, and some of the things I'm saying, if you're knowing in your bones that something's wrong, it's not working for you anymore, it's become an issue, it's become problematic, it's getting worse. You've maybe tried to slow it down or cut down a bit or control your drinking, which I tried to do. I tried to control my drinking. On several occasions, I went out with the intention that I would only have a few, and it never worked. Because essentially, I can say right now that I don't want to have anything to drink, and I have no problem doing that. But if I have a drink or two or three, my brain chemistry is fundamentally changed, and the ability for me to make that decision is gone. The guy who's saying right now he doesn't want to drink is gone and wants to have not 3 drinks. When I have 3 drinks, the guy that tells me that I should have 0 drinks is gone, and now there's a new guy with a new brain chemistry, a new physiology based on that chemical in my system that's saying, no, have 6 drinks. And if 6 drinks makes you feel good, then have 12 drinks. It'll make you feel twice as good. And the thing that told me that it was not good for me is gone. And that's the trick. And that's why people can't have just one. That's why I don't mess around. And I don't even mess with it anymore. It's not worth it. So I'm not saying it's all or nothing. Hey, if you can control your drinking and you're the one type of person that can go out and have a few and go home and be in decent shape, more power to you. But I could never do that. And so if you're like me, or if anything I'm saying resonates with you, and you can feel that you want to make some changes in your life, well, keep tuning in, because what's going to happen is I'm going to keep getting comments, and as I continue to get comments, I'm going to continue to try to find ways to help those people that are struggling. I've been helped so much in my life, and my friends, my family, who've looked out for me during difficult times, and I realized that part of growing older just means that we take the lessons and the knowledge that we learn from life and we help others through the process. And that's what we've been doing for thousands of years, showing up for each other and helping each other out when we're going through challenging times. And if I can share some of my challenging times with people and help them to make better decisions and free them from the prison of feeling trapped by having to constantly use a poison and ruin their lives or ruin their health, then that's what this is. I'm just here to testify to my experience. And if you find it helpful, then share it. But more importantly, take a good, long, hard look in the mirror and think about what it is you want from your life. And think about whether you're capable of standing up to the opposition and going against the crowd and stop caring about what other people think and make a decision that's best for you. And I'll tell you, you're not alone. There's a lot of other people out there that are going through it. You are not alone. If you want to learn more, if you want to explore it in a private, personal conversation, if you have questions to ask, you can ask them in the chat or make a comment below, or you can reach out to me directly on social media. Whatever you want to do, DM me. I'm happy to talk about this. But remember, no one is coming to save you. No one. You're a full adult. No one is coming to save you and force you to make the changes that you need to make in your life. So if you're feeling like you're at that time in your life where it's time for you to start practicing self-care, self-care and self-love is not some corny journey about being selfish. It's about realizing if you want to show up in life as the best version of yourself, you need to do the work. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you want to be good to take care of your family, your friends, and to take care of life and build yourself into something that you're proud of and feel good about, you have to do the work on yourself. So practicing a level of self-care just allows us to show up in life in a healthier way and be what we need to be for others, to serve others. So, I know I'm a complete stranger. I know to hear this sounds a little weird, but I do love you and I do care about your well-being because we're all on this crazy planet alive together right now, and we should care about each other. It's exactly what we can use social media for, is to take back the power of it and reconnect and help each other and support each other through the difficult times. Let's take back what social media can be as a tool to help empower each other and inform each other and support each other. So if you're going on this healing journey and part of it involves making tough changes, know that you're not alone. I've got your back. And there's a lot of people out there that have your back too and want other people to be healthy. We want a healthier world and healthier communities. So if you're beginning your journey of self-care, if you're beginning your journey of healing, if you're going through a rough time in life, if you just got divorced or broke up or feeling stuck in life, if you have habits that you're numbing and distracting yourself with, and you're feeling like you need a little guidance, just drop back in here. Re-listen to this video. Reach out to me directly and become part of the community. And learn to love yourself and take care of yourself so we can continue to take care of each other.